Hey guys, Sebbediah here, and right off the bat, I want to thank each and every one of you for the incredible support on the first episode of our Forever World video. I was hoping some people would get interested, but I didn't expect Whoa. I've shown some of your nice comments to Marigold too, and she is so happy. Look at her. She is positively glowing. Well, in today's episode, I thought we'd go ahead and reconnect with nature a little bit by constructing a massive greenhouse. But since I don't want you guys to just listen to my babbles while my character stands here static, we're gonna get a move on, and I'll explain the whys and hows as we get to them in the video. Let's go! Since the village was completely empty, I thought it best to demolish it so that we have space to rebuild it properly in my image. A few people have told me that the village was in fact not abandoned. The residents were actually slaughtered by the undead while I hung around doing my own thing, cause the village was constantly loaded in. This is good cause I was worried I was a bad landlord and I wasn't taking good care of them, so all the people decided to leave, but that's not the case. They just got killed, so clearly my landlord skill set is not to blame here. I suppose this at least gives us a chance to rebuild from square one. Just like a bone grows back stronger after broken, Braviary Village shall now turn to ash, for it can then rise up grander than ever, much like a phoenix. Once the village was deleted, I wanted to do some land corrective terraforming around my house in order to start blending it in with the surrounding nature and future builds. It has gone well, but it has depleted my shovel quite a bit, and so I thought I'd go ahead and use up my valuable bottles of XP to recharge it a little, only to realize after I used them that my shovel doesn't actually have mending on it yet. Stress eating was the correct answer here. Before moving on with other endeavors, I had to go on a replenishment run for some resources, specifically ores. Into the caves we go. And hooray that I've got some shulker boxes now. So happy my inventory is no longer limited and I can now store multiple boxes worth of gathered loot. Since I've explored the majority of this open space, I've gone ahead and dived into the smaller side caves. This was a good decision as the ore in here was abundant. I even came across this skeleton spawner with some name tags, which are always welcome. Slowly navigating through the tangled up maze of cave systems, I've made sure to slay every creeper I come across. Now that I've got the elytra, I'll be needing a lot of fireworks so that I can fly around from place to place, and so gunpowder will be very desirable. Oh, an abandoned mine shaft. There'll surely be something of value in this thing. More ores? Good, that's why I'm here. Towards the end of the system, what I thought was going to be the end of the caving segment turned out to be a doorway to something grander. Before we pass onwards, however, we must handle the entrance guardian, an onyx. Luckily for us, Petalil has much experience in dealing with these rock lizards, and so, after a single glance in its direction, the onyx just literally got disintegrated. What can I say? Petalil ain't got no chill. And wow, look at this vast open space. Time to explore it. I began running around and collecting everything I could get my fingers on. I want to make sure that once I leave this place, I will not need to return for a long while. I was becoming slightly worried though, as I was running out of sticks for torches and honestly, even out of space in my shulker boxes, which was truly problematic, as I was nowhere near done collecting yet. And so, after establishing dominance over the local residents, I made my way back to the mine shaft and collected the wooden flooring, turning it into a crafting table and some sticks, allowing me to make more torches as well as condense all of the ores I've collected thus far into raw ore blocks, freeing up a lot of inventory space. This placed us back into the perfect position to go back out there and continue mining. Being pretty much done with the upper level, it was now time to continue with the main open area. And yes, as you might have noticed, there indeed appears to be another one of the massive loot-full structures here. It is what I was slowly making my way towards while staying cautious and on guard. I didn't want to have to deal with unexpected ambushes, and so I've opted for taking it slow rather than just busting in guns blazing. Ooh, I think I see an edge of a lush cave system there. I'm not going there though. I'm gonna get everything collected from around and within this structure, and then it's home time, which is precisely what I've done. And once I had all the local ore in my pockets, it was time to have a look inside the build to see what treasures were hiding inside. A lot of extra ores, plus some insignificant items, but glowberries. This is fantastic as it'll save me making the journey to collect them from somewhere else later on when I'm building the before mentioned greenhouse. Now then, time to get out of here. I'm happy with everything I've got, so let's find a way out. I've tried to backtrack the best way I could, but I'm not gonna lie, I got lost in the caves pretty fast. And so I've resorted to just finding caves that go upwards, and then following them hoping for the best. It took squeezing through a few narrow passages, but then there it was, light and the smell of non-dusty air. This is the way. Ooh, right, how far from the house are we? Oh, well, you know what they say, home can always be just around the corner. Do they really say that? I have no idea, I just made it up. I went through all my loot and yeah, I'm completely happy with the results. Tons of random items including evolution stones and an artifact, 1,362 pieces of coal, along with 945 iron pieces, and to top it off, 4,610 pieces of raw copper. Fortune 4 really showing its worth, cause that's quite the collection. And I just know there's gonna be that one dude that'll be like, actually I've collected 10 shulker boxes full of raw copper blocks once. Let me have this, let me be happy. Now of course all this ore is in need of smelting, so rev up those fryers, cause I sure am... Wait, why isn't this working? Turns out the furnaces don't like it from the back. So I quickly remade and fixed them up, and here we go, they be doing their job now. Seeing it all smelting is actually so satisfying. It was now time to get back to building. I want a cute sort of garden greenery at the front and around my house. This'll make it feel more homely and also blend it into its surroundings, especially once we start constructing the Braviary village with whatever we plan up for the future. And so, once I've shaved these trees, much like I shave my legs, collecting all the resources I'll need, I began with creating these simple little custom trees in front of the main pillars. I've tried to make them look very unkept, as I thought it added an extra oomph to the nature element I was going for. Next, I've put in the barriers of the front garden and constructed an extension to the front path which I will be able to connect to all future builds. I've gone ahead and put in some podzol patches within the garden bounds, constructed a couple more tiny trees, as well as these little bushes, grew a lot of grass to fill in the empty space, and placed some mushrooms on the podzol for a little bit of color variation. And there we are, look at that! I'm actually proper proud of how this looks. Genuinely gives off a much more homely feeling now, which I absolutely adore. For the sides, I've done something similar, starting with the left side, putting in some trees along with lanterns for light source decoration, and on the right side some bushes and a ton of grass. I wasn't quite sure yet what I wanted to build for the back of the house, and so I stopped here to give myself a chance to think. Moving on to the main build of this episode, the greenhouse. I've prepared everything I will need for the build by creating a small vine farm, as well as a place to grow some massive spruce trees. I then went ahead and started clearing out the area in which the greenhouse will be built. Just like before, I've prepared this build in creative and then transferred the schematic over to this world, so that I can build it in survival without any hassle. Unlike before though, I will not show you the finished build ahead of time. I want you guys to just watch and trust the process, because I think I did really well with it. I will show you the size of it. The blue box there that you can see is the main part of the greenhouse. Then there's some smaller parts in front which aren't included in the schematic, but overall I'd say the full build is much bigger than our main house. Okay, while I build in the background, I shall go through the whys and the hows of my reasoning behind building this greenhouse. So let's get into it. For those of you that play Pokemon, you will know that there are a lot of different items. Like, a lot. Pokeballs, potions, berries, herbal remedies, mints, stat boosting supplements, PP ups, stat training items, and that's just what comes to mind first. Well, all of these items are indeed present in Cobblemon, but surprise surprise, all these are either items you grow or craft out of the items you grow. One of the first big proper updates for Cobblemon, which also brought a lot of attention to the mod, was the Friends and Farms update, aka Cobblemon 1.4, and they introduced this whole agriculture aspect into Cobblemon. It is precisely why I want to create a greenhouse. I want to have a place in Braviary Town that will be fully dedicated for growing Minecraft and Cobblemon crops and resources. Opening 4 is the door that grants us access to basically everything Cobblemon, locked behind farming. And trust me, it will be necessary to open that door. The other half of my reasoning is that I can also keep some of my shiny Pokemon there, so that they can happily roam around the greenhouse. I feel like it'll double as a very aesthetic show-off piece. And that's pretty much what my thought process is here. It's just something that needs to be done in order to grant us the means of advancing on our Cobblemon journey. So if I have to do it, I might as well do it properly and have fun with it. Right then, I can see that the skeletons of the main and the 4 smaller side greenhouses are all done. Even the stone foundation is laid out and varied up nicely, meaning that our next order of business is glass. I checked Lightmatica and I'll need about 5,000 blocks of glass, which obviously I do not have just laying around. Meaning we are gonna need to go out for a collection. I wasn't too sure how much one shulker stores, and so I grabbed 9 just to be extra ready. And since we have wings now, there's no need to boat it across the ocean again, because we can just fly over it. I went up to the roof where I've built this really cute little takeoff platform for my elytra, and I tell you, I've wanted to do this for a long while, so I'm really looking forward to this. Right, all is ready, let's begin. Oh no. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, I'm ready this time. Let's go. Holy sh! This looks beautiful. I am actually in awe so much that I'm at a lack of words right now. Damn. Oh, we're losing a bit of altitude though, so let's dive in under the cloud level. Ooh. Okay, that gave me the same feeling as seeing a drop on a roller coaster. I've never seen Minecraft look like this, and I'm gonna be honest, it's giving me the feeling of that childhood wonder. When I was a kid and I've managed to convince my mom to buy me Minecraft, the first world I've loaded into, this is what it felt like. The way I'm seeing Minecraft on my screen right now is exactly how Minecraft from my childhood looks like in my memories, which, this is some insane nostalgia. I've managed to land safely and professionally on a hill I've deemed to be good enough for me to harvest. And so I've got my shovel out and began shoveling the sand up into my shulkers. I've actually discovered something here I feel very silly about. I have a mod installed called Better Than Mending, which basically allows me to do this. And I completely forgot I installed this for exactly this purpose. So the whole time since I got my mending tools, I've just been going to the nether to kill blazes at spawners for XP to mend my tools. I feel so dumb, honestly. A proper mood booster appeared shortly after my numbskull moment, in the form of a Braxian, a second evolution of yet another fire starter. However, I've pulled a little bit of a miscalculation and had Petilil use Leech Seed, which, yeah, I had 2 chances to catch it and then it died. Whoops. The Cobblemon RNG gods had mercy upon my sorry being though, as not even a minute later I found Fennekin, and in the midst of a thundering sandstorm, I've managed to catch it. This leaves only 2 more fire starters to finish 1/3 of our collection, a Litten and a Fuecoco. But for now, I continue to focus on collecting more sand. I'm sure we'll find the rest of the fire starters at some point in the future. Okay, I think I got enough sand. Time for a takeoff. I'm gonna have to fly around more. Honestly, this is so pretty. And look, there's Candy Mountain. Diving down the sequel. Whew, exhilarating. And there's our home. Stepping back into the house, I've immediately filled up the ovens with 2 chests worth of sand and loaded the fuel slot with tons of lava. That can passively smelt now while we go and put an unbreaking enchantment onto my elytra, as it breaks so damn easy. I had no idea these wings were so fragile. If there is any other enchantments I can put on my elytra, please let me know in the comments, thank you. Since I had tons of time now before the glass was done smelting, I've gone ahead and crafted an XP share so that I could go and do some Cobblemon battling and training. We have a fantastic team of baby Pokemon and I think we should definitely start getting them stronger little by little. Since little Petilil was the most effective against the Pokemon spawning in and around our area, I went ahead and focused on leveling her up. Plus, I think she fits the theme of this episode with the greenhouse and all that, so, you know, just makes sense, I guess. During our trading, we actually came across this cute little bundle of fire, a Charmander. We have a Charmeleon already, but I caught this one mainly because first evolution and all that feels better. I actually ended up remembering the glowberries that we acquired in the underground earlier in the episode, and so I've created a little farm for those since I'll be needing quite a bit of them for the last part of the greenhouse. Some of the glass was finished smelting now, and because I am a very impatient person, I've grabbed it and started filling in the walls of the smaller greenhouses with it. Fun fact, the design of these smaller ones is an improved upon design I've created myself when I played a bit of Minecraft on the Switch back in 2018 while traveling. So right now I am delivering onto you a pure Sebbediah original. To no one's surprise, I ran out of glass. And so I've opted to do a bit more Pokemon battles with Petilil, picking on the Geodudes in the area as they were super easy to take out. We did at one point get a bit braver and faced off against an Ursaring, actually flawlessly winning the battle. Speaking of intimidating opponents, look at this, a Golem. Now watch. Oh, we should rename Lil Petilil to Houdini, cause she just made that poor schmuck disappear. Our training session ended with Petilil reaching level 42, and in extension to that, Marigold at level 33 thanks to the XP share. I actually got curious to see when Lil Goldie would evolve, so I looked it up, and turns out we need around 220 friendship, which, oh boy, we need to work on this. To help out in this aspect, I've crafted a cute little Sooth Bell for her. This will increase our friendship gain by 50%. Back to the glass, there was enough of it smelted for me to continue the build. I've completed the smaller ones and then moved on to the main big greenhouse, which was a little tricky, but with a bit of scaffolding helping me out, I've managed to eventually get it all complete. The next step was the connection boards. Since it's all mostly just glass, it needed these wooden connectors to give it the impression of sturdiness, that it's holding together well. I've used dark oak for these, as their color matches very well with the spruce logs, and overall fits the color theme I'm going for. Since these were mostly for the roof parts, it was now time to move on to detailing the sides, which included a lot of lanterns and chains. This is why I went on that ore gathering haul at the beginning. I told you we'd need a lot of iron. Before I moved on to detailing the main build, I wanted to finish these 4. This means we'll need some leaves, specifically dark oak leaves, which I tried to harvest by growing them on my own, but this is gonna take absolute ages, and I'm running out of saplings this way. It is thus time to take flight once more. I flew in the direction of the same dark oak forest that we've gone to the first time around, and I gotta say I'm so happy we can fly around now. This is amazing. I absolutely love this. I found the forest which was suitable for my harvest and gracefully landed on the beach next to it. Ooh, look at those glaciers. We'll have to go and explore that at some point. And that looks like a savanna field? Maybe? Hello, Murkrow. Once I was done with observing the scenery, I picked a clump of trees and started shading. I was ideally aiming for at least one full shulker box, since I'll need these for the main greenhouse too. I might as well get enough of them now and save myself a trip later. Whoa, that is one vibrant looking horse. The way the Galarian Ponytas look with these shaders, oh, I love the glow. While harvesting the leaves, I had a mini heart attack when I accidentally firework blasted myself forward because I was holding right click to eat a fish. Whoa. I took the fireworks out of my offhand so it wouldn't happen again. I do not enjoy being involuntarily propelled into the air. Right, I've got 1 and a bit of shulkers worth of leaves. Time to get back home. Damn, sunset on point. Once home, I wasted no time and immediately put the leaves to use by completing the ground level of the greenhouse. Along with pretty much completely finishing the shells of the 4 small greenhouses, I added a little bit of interior to them and yeah, they're pretty much done until I decide to fill them up with something. Back onto the main greenhouse, it was time to tackle the mid-layer by detailing, creating gentle arches and blending in supports by using stairs, planks, trapdoors, and buttons. The roof was next. I've blended some of the wooden beams in, after which I brought out the leaves. I want a lot of greenery hanging off the roof, and so I've gone proper overboard with this, having it start from the center and make its way down in all directions. And there we go, boys. Realistically, this is pretty much the greenhouse finished. Well, the build itself at least. I still need to give it an interior as well as plant a lot of fields around it. I still need to give it soul and purpose, basically. But it's nice to look at how far it's already come sprouting up from the ground, even if there is still a lot more to do. Reflecting on your progress is a good way to stay positive and motivated. The interior design began with creating walking platforms. I've gone with spruce wood for this part as it's still a similar color blend as the rest of the greenhouse, yet it's different just enough to stand out in a nice, pleasing to the eye way. There'll be 3 levels the greenhouse will be split into: the ground level, the crown level, and the sky level. These names will make sense towards the end once the interior is more complete. I've built up these fences and then continued with the arches at the ground level. The next order of business was going back to the ceiling, adding in some lanterns hanging on ropes and chains. After this, I've grabbed some leaves and used them to create these wrapped up leafy vine lookalikes coming off of the wooden structure beams. They add a certain nature charm to the vibe of the place. But the next job on the agenda was glowberry vines, which will fully complete the feel. I tried to get them longer and more hangy the closer to the middle we got, and you know what, looking at it once it was complete, I think I did a pretty good job getting exactly how I wanted it to look like. Good job me. I used more glowberries to create these almost curtains behind the wooden arches. But before I was able to complete them, I ran out of bone meal. Scandalous. Well, I guess it's time to get some bones. I waited around for the night to fall upon us, and I know I don't usually show the night since I skip through it to build or explore through the days, but lucky us, the first night I properly show happens to be a full moon, meaning we get to see the Aurora Borealis. And look how pretty this is. So serene and peaceful. The calm before the storm, you could say. Right. I guess we should begin with the storm now. Running around, I was smacking up any mobs that were in my way, as I was hunting for my primary evil mob, the skeletons. I chose to also go for any creepers I've seen, as gunpowder will be a nice loot bonus for fireworks. Since we've got looting free in our sword, I managed to get pretty much an entire stack of bones in one singular night, correcting our calcium intake and allowing us to finish off the glowberry curtains. I still had some podzol left over, so I used that to add a little bit of variation for the ground. While putting away some of the blocks, this happened. Oh, Marigold is ready to evolve. It's time! Alright, little Goldie, good luck on your journey. I'll see you on the other side. so cute. I checked out her new stats and turns out she's more proficient at physical attacks rather than special ones. And so I've given Marigold a new moveset more suitable for that. One of the moves she now has was Double Team, allowing her to increase her dodge chance. And so I've gone ahead and grabbed some glow lichen that was growing outside of my house, smelted it up, and got some bright powder which will lower the accuracy of opposing Pokemon's moves by 10%. Here you go, little Goldie, this is for you. In order to be able to finish off the last part of the greenhouse, I flew out to stock up on some resources, including clay. So we had a nice time splashing around the ocean collecting that. The next thing I needed was acacia trees, and I was fully ready to go looking for them far off into the distance when, from the corner of my screen, I spotted them super close. Right behind the coastal village we imported our villagers from. Talk about anticlimactic, I was so ready to journey out. When I got back home, I found this Scorvus Squire, and so we had our first battle with newly evolved Marigold against it. And it was an overwhelming victory. Well done, Gorl. It was now time to collect the last secret ingredient, apricorn leaves. While doing this, I came across this Roselia and oh, she is walking with purpose. She is the moment and she knows it. Collecting apricorn leaves was a time sink, but we weren't making too bad of a progress. Alongside this, I've also grown and chopped down some acacia trees as I'll be in need of this wood. Pretty much now, actually. I'm going to use it to create the centerpiece of the greenhouse, the soul, a beautiful ashen golden leafed tree. Starting off with the roots, I slowly built my way up into the crown. I've tried to make it look as organic as possible, but honestly I have no clue what kind of tree I was going for when planning it out. I just went for it and the results were satisfactory. Now it was time to fill up the crown with leaves, making it look sort of towering, like it has a presence as soon as you step into the greenhouse. And I'd say I've actually pulled it off. This tree defo has the aesthetic and the feel to it that I was going for. I plan on terraforming quite a bit, especially around the greenhouse, and so I will need a lot of dirt. Since I really didn't want to flatten the already flat hills around my area, I flew across and beyond our floating starter island to the other side. I found an appealing hill, set my stuff down, but then I spotted this blob of some kind in the distance. I of course flew over immediately to investigate and I'm gonna have a guess this is a fossil dig site? The tree stump from the previous episode was apparently also a place I can get fossils, as many of you have shouted at me in the comments for not knowing that. So if this is another one of those, just let me know and I'll put it on the list of places to come back to for when we do an archaeology episode. I went ahead and dug out 3 shulkers worth of dirt. I feel like it won't be enough, but for now it'll have to do. Now that we are back home, it's time to begin. Everything from this point onwards is not pre-planned like my buildings are, so we are going full freestyle, baby. I created this dirt ramp, which I then outlined with a combination of normal and mossy stone bricks, to keep in theme with the type of stone used for the greenhouse. I wanted to create a sense of elevation while sort of building into the already existing terrain. Terraforming is good, but not when you flatten completely everything. Sometimes it can be really healthy for the build to follow the terrain instead. Oh, by the way, check this out. Another Chansey spawned in. Will I get lucky this time? Oh, there it is! There... Oh. Egg. Well, that's trash. Come on, Petilil, we got better things to do. My ledge was complete, but since I didn't want it fully intact, I created these holes and patches that leaked the dirt. These made it feel that maybe these ledges were something that was here before, some old ruin that the greenhouse was then built upon. I don't know, I'm just making up lore as I go along. Okay, there's our entrance done. Next on the agenda was to clear up the massive front area of the greenhouse, as I want to build some fields there. but we'll need a bit more of a stable environment to do that. And so I removed all the stone and smoothed out the hills. Since these fields are going to be quite big, I'm going to do one side at a time, starting with the left. I created a path that roughly indicates how far I want the field to go, and then I started putting together a fence. I used the apricot wood for the fence as it looked like oak, except it had this really pretty golden tint to it. For the fence itself, I tried to make it fairly gappy, like the simple wooden farm fences. It was now time for the farmland, and you guys have no idea how lucky you are that you're seeing it on a time lapse. This took so long to do. Literally, just this one field was several hours of work. Oh yeah, I added these little decorative barrel and chest clumps as I thought they enhanced the field, breaking it up a little with variation. Since I'll need some light on the field, I added these lamps on top of the water sources. And to finish it off, I added some leaves around the fences to really bring home that rustic feeling. I even added this little scarecrow. Bro's gonna be scaring all them Pidgeys and Starlies away. Right, I've had a snack, I had some bubble tea. It was now time to get the second field done. For this one, I've pretty much done the exact same process as for the first one. The only difference was the elevation, as this one wasn't completely flat, instead presenting a little bit of curvature, which was fun to build on and play around with. Ooh, pause. Guess what, guys? We got a shiny in our vicinity. There it is. A shiny Caterpie. It's actually cute. What the hell? I might be able to pull off one more attack, but I am not risking a critical. Therefore, go Pokeball. Hey, gotcha. And that's another shiny to our collection. Super cute. Okay, back to the field work. They never finished. No, I'm just kidding. The fields were now finished. What I want to do next is a sort of divide. I want there to be something separating the fields and whatever structures we're going to build on this side. And so I've created these tall, skinny trees, pretty much directly inspired by cypress trees. Now, of course, the gaps in between are not very pleasant to the eye, and so I've added some overgrown styled fences there, finishing it all off by spreading grass with bone meal to blend it in nicely. Oh wow, yeah, I'm happy with this. It is now time to begin working on the last part of this agricultural masterpiece. In order to get Pokeballs, as well as some other items, but mainly Pokeballs, we are going to need all the 7 different colored apricorns. As you've probably already noticed, these apricorns grow on trees, and so it is time to create a little tree plantation. This way I will have the apricorns available whenever I need them. Since I had to do a bit of a sharp edge raised platform in order to fit the trees where I want them, I went ahead and did a bit more terraforming, blending it all in together nicely. I imitated the fence design from before for this part, however I ran out of apricorn wood. Oh, the horror. I had to harvest grown apricorns to hopefully get some saplings to grow some more of the apricorn wood. The night was approaching and I will also need some more bones for bone meal. So instead of sleeping, I ran out to go on a bone hunt to get the bones. What I found instead was... what the fuck? Nah, this gloom is really going through it, huh? Little bro driving on a heavy hit of that Herba Mystica. My guy here is transcending the realms of Palkia and Dialga. Fella literally speaking to Arceus in the current moment. Come on, buddy, time to sober up. Oh, how dare you interrupt the good kush? Oh no. It's day now, and I didn't even manage to get that many bones. I was going to finish off the fence now, however I found this Ditto that transformed into a Pikachu and just had a full-on staring contest with Marigold. Boop! Now that the fence was actually finished, I turned my gaze towards the greenhouse entrance as it seemed a little too empty. I added a couple more cypress trees along with a little bit more of a broken down overgrown fence for aesthetics, and finished the look off with a beautiful welcoming entrance filled with flowers in plant pots and lanterns. I then added some grass all over the place to complete the look. And it is done! It is complete! I actually can't believe how well this turned out. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. And you know what? To really show it off for you guys, here is a little montage of cool shots of this place that I've put together. Let's have a look at it. It's so nice to look back at a build after it's been finished. Just gives me a feeling of fulfillment. And oop, now we're in the ocean. How did this happen? Well, I actually need ink, so we're eating squid tonight, boys. Come here. Come here. Ah! Whoa. What a view. Let me scan you. Oh no, why didn't that work? Let's try again. Come on, please, please. Oh no, no, I'm not going out like this. Oh, too close. Way too close. Oh, and he's gone now. What a shame. Pew! The reason I wanted ink was so I could create this book. This book shall contain all of the information about all of the berries and other Cobblemon crops we need to collect. So let's go ahead and start with the easiest ones that we already have, and those shall go in the small greenhouses. Oh, hello Torchic. What are you doing here? You're coming with us, cause I only have a combuskin so far. The first greenhouse was going to be for the energy root. This bad boy is a little tricky, however, as it grows by spreading across the ceiling in the dark. My amazingly cool idea for this farm was to have some sticky pistons I could turn on and off, and they would cover and uncover the growing area for the energy roots. This way I was going to be able to keep them in the dark but have easy access for harvesting. The issue was that I needed slime balls, yet I still couldn't find the swamp biome even after flying around pretty far out in a few directions. I am convinced that the swamp biome doesn't exist in my world. This is what I've made for the farm so far, but once I locate a slime chunk, I'll come back and fully refine this. I actually ended up putting some nether wart on the side as it felt fitting, and used up the space of this small greenhouse to the fullest. For the second greenhouse, we have the medicinal leek, which needs to be in water to grow. I've put together this cute long watering trowel to grow them in. For this one, I've gone ahead and threw in some sugarcane on the side. This way, I can get rid of that other one growing next to our house. Greenhouse number 3 is a perfect candidate for revival herbs. These grow just in normal farming soil, and so I've created something similar like I did with the trowel, but I filled it up with dirt this time to plant the revival herbs in. On one side, I've opted to put in some pumpkins while leaving the other side empty. Once I have all the berries, I'll put some important ones here to grow. And finally, the last little greenhouse belonged to the vivichoke plants. This one grows the exact same as the revival herb, and so I've just copied the design for it. I can't actually remember what the vivichokes are used for, but I swear they're important in some way. So here we go, grow your heart out, you silly plant. Once again, on one side I've added melons, and the other side shall be kept empty for now, for when we have berries to choose from to grow there. Oh, and look! We found another shiny! A cute little sparkly zigzagoon. Come on buddy, you'll soon be living a luxury life in that massive greenhouse right next to us. I've actually just realized that I've built space to grow everything. Except the damn nature mints! I can't believe I completely forgot about them. It's fine. I plan to expand the farm-based buildings further down anyway, so I'll just build one for the mints at some point in the future. Next on the agenda was to build up a bunch of planting pots within the main big greenhouse. The only thing growing in this place will be berries just because of the sheer number of how many are available in the game. Whoa, hold up a minute, look at this view. It's so pretty and comforting, like looking out of a window at the outside world from the safety of my room while it's storming. Which, saying that out loud is a bit stupid considering that's literally what's happening in-game right now. I'm just surprised at how close the invoked feeling from this is to its real-life equivalent, considering this is just a visual on the screen. I've made a bunch of plant pots all over the greenhouse, so we'll have more than enough space to plant and mutate all the berries we need. Then I got the soil nice and ready for the berries, which we actually don't have yet, so it is time! Time to go and look at the list and try and find all of the naturally spawning berries. I checked which of them I've already managed to gather so that I could tick them off. It's actually quite interesting how they've done this. There are 69 nice berries in total, but only 29 of them naturally spawn in the wild. One of them is only obtainable as a drop from a Pokemon, and the other 39 have to be obtained via mutations, which basically means growing two specific berries next to each other, allowing them a chance to mix and create a brand new berry, basically working on the same foundation as mixed race people. Oh no. Oh, I can't put that in the video. We started with looking in the forest biome as it was the most common and closest to us. And oh, there we go. We got a chesto berry. And look, not even 5 minutes later and I found a raspberry too. This collection thing is gonna be a breeze. So, it was 9 AM when I started recording the collecting. It is now 11:48 in the night. I can't feel my ass and I'm pretty sure my legs are no longer attached to my body. And I still have one berry to find. Okay, let's get into it. I have categorized all of the berries in my book under the biomes in which they primarily spawned in. However, I do have the wiki open so that I can see their alternative spawning biomes, in case I can't find them in their primary one. I continued strolling through the forest biome and instead of a berry, I came across Sprigatito. I despised Gen 9 starters, however that is a long discussion for a different time. For now, I've got this guy as he is still a starter and moved on. In the same flower forest, I found the Payapa berry ticking off the desert section, but we'll still need to go there anyway. And the Kebia berry, leaving only the Tanga berry now for the forest section. There was nowhere else for this berry to be in this specific forest, and so I flew out to the nearby birch forest to try and find it. It took scouring the majority of this place, but just as I thought I'd have to relocate again, I found it. The Tanga berry is ours, completing the forest section. Time to go to the jungle, and this is where things started to get a little difficult. Mainly because of the terrain being so dense, decreasing visibility drastically. Oh well, at least I was able to scan in a lot of really cool Pokemon that I do not have in my Pokedex yet. This Tangrowth is really cool. I actually had to fly out to the other nearby jungle as I found nothing in terms of new berries in this one. I had a bit of a better luck here as I've managed to find the Nanab berry. Yay! By the way, it's coming up to 12 now, so it's already been almost 3 hours. I'm gonna throw out the time every now and again just so you guys have the perspective of how long this has taken. I've sifted through the majority of the jungle, but I found no new berries. Eventually, I came to this opening and that's a Distant Horizons glitch. I'll fix that later. For now, let's just pretend it doesn't exist. Since I wasn't able to find any more berries, I flew out to the Sky Islands and whoa, I will never get tired of this view. The berry I was after was the Haban berry, primarily spawning in the jungle, but can also be found in the sky. While looking through the islands, I came across an Impidimp. Turns out they spawn here every now and again, and guess what? They are on the list of Pokemon that drop the Roselli berry, which is that one berry I've mentioned that is unobtainable in any other way. And so I've made it a goal to defeat any Impidimps I come across. Coming back to the Haban berry, I found it. Took a little while, but we got there. The next and the last jungle berry was Oka, and it has the alternative spawning biome of Sandy. Time to fly to the desert. While looking around, I actually came across the roast berry, so gonna be ticking that one off now. Petty little picked a fight with a local Sandslash, yielding us a quick claw. Love collecting battle items, so this was nice. Lucky me, not long after this, I came across the Oka berry, growing peacefully next to a river. Before moving on to the next location, I stayed in the desert for the night to hunt some skeletons for bone meal. It's happened a few times now that I found a berry bush I wasn't sure about, but I had no bone meal to quickly grow the berries to check what they are and if I already have them. So the sacrifice of these skeletons should fix that up. The next location was an arid biome, aka the Savannah, which was literally just across the mountain. This was a super easy run, as I literally found the Shuka berry right after landing. Oh, look, giraffe. There was also a village right next to me, and I remembered that villages sometimes have berry planters in them, which the Cobblemon mod adds. I've checked them, and sure enough, there's the pineapple berry in all its glory. That's the arid biome done. It is coming to 2 PM. There is 8 more berries to find, and the difficulty setting is about to be raised dramatically. The next biome was the coast. I found a really nice location with a collection of beaches I can circle around, and so I've began there. Beach number 1, nothing. Beach number 2, waste of time. Beach number 3.
Nope, sorry, nothing.
We're on beach number 4, It has just passed 3 PM, and I'm starting to feel like this berry doesn't actually exist, when suddenly... Oh, there it is! The Basho berry! I found it! Get in the box, you schmuck, you're coming with me. The next berry on the list is the Wackenberry, which spawns in the plains as well as the Sky Islands. I opted to look for it in the sky, as I still needed the Rosalie berry from the Impidimps. So, this way, I could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Oh, hello, Hatena! I had no idea you were added in too. This traveling has really distanced my horizons on how many Pokemon are actually available in the base mod. After slaying a few of these little goblins, one of them dropped the Rosalie berry, so we can tick that one off and continue our search for the Wackenberry. One of my favorite sky islands that I visited so far had to have been this autumn floating island, as it just felt so cozy. Autumn is my favorite season and yellow is my favorite color, so this made me feel right at home. Sadly though, it did not contain the berry we're looking for, and so it was time to fly off to the next one. But I had literally 0 luck finding this berry anywhere in the sky, and so I've opted to go look for it in the grasslands instead. Any plains in Savannah biome is considered a grassland under Cobblemon logic. And so I flew towards a large savanna I could see. Mid-flight, my distant horizons needed a quick reset. I was messing with the settings to try something out and it didn't work. So I had to do a quick landing to fix it up. And you will not believe the luck. By pure chance, I landed right next to the Wackenberry. After looking for it for so long, I just happened to crash land on top of it. Oh, this game got jokes, man. I fixed up the DH mod, appreciated the scenic view, ticked my list and started heading to our next destination, which was a taiga biome for the Yachi berry. And I think this is where I started to lose it a little bit. Do you remember the very pretty glowberry caves from the first episode? Well, on top of them was a soft mountain with a small taiga biome around it. That is where I had a look first, but there was pretty much nothing there, and so I moved on to the taiga that was next to the dark forest we've harvested leaves from earlier in this episode. Here I ended up finding the Babiri berry. That's another one ticked off the list. I've looked through the rest of the taiga and the one next to it too, but I couldn't find the Yachi berry. So I flew over them glaciers we've seen before and it was so pretty. Wait, what is that? That is the tiniest mushroom island I have ever seen. Why is it so small? That's what she said. There was quite an extensive snowy taiga nearby, and so that's our next destination. I've walked from one side of the biome to the other, and this was getting slightly mind-numbing at this point. At least I had Iman's new video for entertainment. He's really cool, so make sure to go check him out if you're looking for more quality Cobblemon content to watch. Oh, and bombard his comment section with Sebbediah says hello, please. I think that'd be quite funny. I found it! The One Piece! It's real! I hope I never have to come to this taiga ever again. This place got us quite frozen, and so it was time to thaw out a little by flying over to the Badlands, the location of our next target, the Cobblepedia. Oh, the bones from the previous time are still here. Wait a minute. Is that a Charty berry? Hell yeah! This is the berry I was going to go for after Colbur. However, I wasn't looking forward to it as its primary spawning biome is set as dripstone. Now, every dripstone cave has dripstone, but not every cave with dripstone is a dripstone cave. And considering we never actually found a proper dripstone cave biome, I was quite scared about looking for this one. So it was a truly welcome surprise to find it in the middle of the Badlands like this. And guess who was right next to it? A Fuecoco! This little fella is so cute. And it's such a shame it doesn't have any evolutions it can grow into, because I bet they'd be amazing. There's a lot wrong with Generation 9, and so, in this scenario, it's not even cope. Being the Lulu is the Salulu. I continued treading through the scorching hills, under the blazing sun, looking for the one out of the 2 last berries on the list. And then, I could hardly believe my eyes. If 10 million no. I did it! Cobblepedia, you are mine! One more berry to go, and we're done. The last berry. Oh lord, where do I begin with this one? The primary spawning location for this one is Lush, aka the Lush Caves, and so I've made my way to the Lush Caves from the first episode, the ones that had the thermal tunnels near them, and started exploring. It wasn't the exact ones, but it was in that same area. This whole mountain is full of them, so I could probably come here 10 different times and find 10 different Lush Cave systems. I've made my way deeper and deeper into the cave system, eventually hitting the thermal cave section again. And even though I've not found the Cassib berry, I did find a few artifacts, such as these Strider boots, which will allow me to walk on top of fire damaging surfaces without taking any damage, as well as sneak on top of liquid lava without sinking. Oh, hello Quagsire. You are looking very, moist today. We love a hydrated queen. I also got this piston glove which increases my knockback. Good for creepers, bad for skeletons. I continued making my way through the Lush Caves, but after about an hour of nothing, I came to the conclusion that I was not finding the Cassib berry here. And so I've made my way out and continued to the alternate biome, which was spooky. The biome under the spooky classification was basically just a dark forest. And lucky for us, literally this entire island was a dark forest biome. So there was plenty of space for this berry to spawn. I am losing my mind. I am actually going crazy. I've explored the vast majority of the dark forest on this side and I cannot find that stupid berry. I literally just found the shiny parasect before the Cassib berry. What is this world? Get in the Pokeball or I'm turning you into a mushroom soup cooking tutorial. There has to be a better way to do this. This is actually deteriorating my mental state. For my own sanity, I had a look to see if I could get some of the Cobblemon to drop this berry instead. And you could, but out of all of the Pokemon to drop this berry, it was Abra. Of course it was Abra! To put it into perspective, I've only seen Abra once so far, and the chance for it to drop the Cassib berry is 3%. Comparing that to Chansey, which I've seen 2 of, having a 10% chance to drop a Lucky Egg, this berry is technically rarer than a Lucky Egg. But at least it was a change of scenery, and so I've done the research and flew over to the Temperate Highlands, which had a rare chance to spawn an Abra during nighttime. I ran around through the whole night fighting off mobs, but no Abra. I did find a Zoroa though, so I caught that because it was cute. During the day, I explored the nearby dark forest, hoping I'd get lucky and find the berry here. No. No. I spent another night running around in the highlands, but yeah, not a single Abra spawned in. Back to the internet we go. Abra can also spawn in biomes labeled as magical, and its spawn there is under the uncommon tab, which is better than rare. One of these biomes is an amethyst rainforest, which just so happens to be them purple trees you guys have been seeing in the distance all this time. And so I've made my way there. I waited for the night, and since this was my last idea, I've decided to double check the spawn rate. It was 13% under the uncommon tab, which isn't too bad, because Kecleon had the same spawn rate here during the day, and I've seen a few of those. So I was getting a little hopeful. Now cast your votes everyone. Do you think Sebbediah found an Abra during this night in the magical amethyst rainforest? If you've answered no, you would be correct. This game hates me. I closed all of the wiki pages and tutorials and I was pretty much ready to give up. But there was still that other side of the island and it could be there. What if it's there and I've just not found it, you know? I gotta go check. Yep, it's not here. I give up. I am so tired. Agitated even. If you guys have any tips or tricks for this berry that I've not tried yet, let me know. If not, I'll just have to try and find it another day. I made my way back home and sorted out my inventory. I then made my way to the greenhouse, and here is where I'm gonna need your guys' help. This greenhouse needs a name. So, if you're feeling creatively inclined to help out with the naming process, drop some names down in the comments below and the best one will be eternalized on this sign. And the same goes for this tree. Now then, why don't we let the shiny Pokemon we've caught so far roam around the greenhouse? Oh yeah, it's all coming together. You know what's funny? As I've mentioned previously, my favorite color is yellow. What a coincidence it is that all of the shinies I've caught so far are some shade of yellow. Love it. I've grabbed all of the berries that we've acquired and opened up a berry mutation guide, planting the necessary ones next to each other so that we can start getting them mutations underway. I've also planted some berries such as the Rosalie berry on their own, so that we can multiply them since we only have one. Wow, look at Parasect go. Bro is literally inspecting the berries, making sure they are only of the highest quality. Parasect is now officially the caretaker of the to-be-named greenhouse, and he takes his job very seriously. By the way, if you guys have any names for the shiny Pokemon, feel free to leave those in the comments below too. For the rest of the berries, I've made this little chest file to store them in for now. Right, the last thing I wish to do to finish off this episode includes evolving little Petilil. I've got a Sunstone, and since we believe in consent, Petilil, would you like to evolve? That is so cute. Right, girl, good luck. I love it. We should probably name you, shouldn't we? Mars.tn_ commented on the last video, Lilligant is one of my fave Pokemons. Could you name it Basil? Absolutely. I'll actually do you one better. Lilligant gives off very strong, kind mother vibes. Like if I was feeling down, I'd imagine a Lilligant would give me the perfect motherly hug. And so it shall be called Moma Basil. Well, what an episode. I can't believe how much we've managed to accomplish and how much there's still left to do. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It helps out a lot. And if you'd like to see more videos like this and keep up with this series, go ahead and subscribe. Since my uploads aren't very frequent, I post weekly updates every Friday on my channel posts about how the progress of the upcoming video is coming along. So if you'd like to have little sneak peeks about when to expect a new episode and how it's coming along, have a look there. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.